Welcome to the forecast. To my right, we have Alex. Alex, how you doing?
Hello, everyone.
And to my left, we have Garrett. Garrett, how you doing?
Swell.
We are here to tell you the forecast. Books coming out for January 24th, 2018, the last Wednesday in January. Is that correct? Is there a Wednesday next week?
There should be one more.
Oh, one more. Yeah, 31st. And then we hit February. February already. It's only one more full week left. It seems like it went by fast. Let's talk about some books. Dark Horse Comics making a comeback. Department H number 22. This is Matt Kent and Charlene Kent on colors. Mia's final memory of her father in his work might be the key to solving his murder and saving the Department H base. A heartbreaking tale of love, guilt, and regret. I didn't read the last issue, but Garrett, you said it was good?
Yep, it was pretty good. It's heavy on the flashbacks, kind of explaining what's his friend's name? Rogers, yeah.
Roger.
And a point of view with the whole story, so it's definitely seeming like he's probably not the killer as things are playing out. So I know we only have, this is our third to last issue, right?
Yes.
Yep. So definitely seems like things are escalating.
Does it seem like it could wrap up in those three, or is it, they feel like it should be a little bit longer?
No, I feel like 3 will be perfect, if not maybe almost too much. So it might, I think if he can stick the landing, I think 3 will be just about right.
I think we're at a good 3 issues left where she will eventually figure out who the bad guy is, wrap it up, and then maybe have one more issue just to tie all of the loose ends and give it a nice bow on there. So,
yeah, it does sound like this issue is going to be like the reveal, and then the next one will be her, like, you know, whatever the conclusion is, and then you're right, I think an issue of her coming to terms with it. So we'll see. Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil number 4. This is Jeff Lemire and David Rubin. Speaking of ending, this is number 4 of 4. Lucy's search for her missing father, the famed superhero Black Hammer, leads her to his greatest enemy of all, Sherlock Frankenstein. At the end of last issue, we saw Sherlock in the window. Is that correct?
yes.
So now,
If he was at that asylum that they started in the first issue.
And now, now here he is. Finally shows up here. Lucy, excuse me. Mia's the other book. Lucy finally meets him up. Alex, this is the end of this miniseries. We got another one coming up here. Going into the 4th one, how do you think this went?
I have to admit, I think this is one of those minis that actually has started off strong and is going to end strong. We've said multiple times, 2017. Seems even 2018 is going to be the year of Jeff Lemire. I think he's nailing it. This is a good book and a nice little substitute until we get back into Black Hammer.
Yeah, I agree. Black Hammer 2 or whatever. Actually, no, I'm not sure. It actually has a subtitle. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think it's supposed to come out for a little bit because we have these 2 miniseries, and I believe another one. But
I bet there will be 3 by the time.
I think he did say
2 comes around.
Yeah, I think there's 2 more miniseries, and then the 2 will come out, which is fine. I mean, if he can get ahead of it and get it all ready, that'll be better than waiting for issues to come out. So that'll be good.
Well, I mean, at least I think Garrett, you can attest to it. Like Jupiter's Circle, a fill-in for Jupiter's Legacy, amazing. All that extra stuff that Mark Miller puts into it was a good filler until we got into the next main story. So
yeah,
I'm fine with these subplots. These past books.
These minis are good. I'm just hoping this 4th issue will actually pull together why it was a mini in the first place, why it needed to be told. So I'm still kind of clueless on the why this book needs to exist. So I want to know all the stuff that we don't know yet. And hopefully probably they'll answer in this 4th issue.
DC Comics, this is Action Comics 996, getting closer to 1,000 issue. This is Dan Jurgens, Will Conrad, and Trevor Scott on the cover. Booster Shot Part 4, Superman and Booster Gold are out of time, and they found themselves marooned on a strange planet somewhere in the future. You know what's, the solicits came out for DC for, what is it, April, right? Today or yesterday? And looks like Booster Gold's going to be in Batman, so Booster Gold's in this. How's Booster Gold doing? We got a resurgence of Booster Gold, looks like.
I've only read the first 2 parts. I haven't read part 3 yet. It's been fun. I think I mentioned before, I'll start going back to Krypton before it explodes, like literally probably days or hours before it explodes. It's pretty cool to see how he interacts with basically the people that lay out the foundation for the rest of his life that he never actually gets to meet. So, yeah, I enjoyed the first 2 parts. So hopefully when I catch up on 3 and then 4, it'll all be a good story to read.
Speaking of catching up,
I've read part 3 today. I read part 3 today. Maybe I don't care about Booster Gold, but it's just kind of, this arc is really spinning its wheels where it's almost making me not want to get Action Comics anymore.
Alex, how long do you get Action Comics? I believe you've been saying that for a little bit here. The
only reason now that I think, maybe I need to get it is that 1000 is coming out, and
do you get that and then do you get that and then you stop?
I think I might, because unless this book is going to tie into something else that I really want to know about, I am not really enjoying this book anymore.
Yeah, maybe when Bendis takes over, you'll want to stick around.
I guess that's what I was going to say. If you read 1000 and you read Bendis' story and you're like, oh, I like where this is going, and then they announce like he's taking over the book and that's where it's going to go, do you just stay on to see how it is?
Maybe. I would at least give Bendis a chance to impress me.
Yeah, I would. I was going to say I would jump back on just to see, like you said, a chance to impress me and see if we have the old Bendis back or we have the same Bendis that just left Marvel.
Yeah.
We'll see, though. Batman Beyond number 16. This is Jan Jurgens and Phil Hester. Hey, wasn't somebody else reading that? No, Jan Jurgens has always been the writer of Batman Beyond?
Yep, since it started. Bernard Chang did it.
Oh, that's right. He did it
on his own.
The Long Payback Part 3. Garrett, how's this book been?
It's been really great. One of my favorites since Rebirth started. I think it's really true to the TV show and who Terry McGinnis is as a character. So if you love Batman Beyond, you'll love this book. And I think there's still surprises and part of Batman Beyond's rogue gallery that keeps popping up that you don't think you'd ever see again, but you get to see him quite a bit. So very pumped to see where this story goes every month that it comes out.
Detective Comics 973. That's getting close to 1,000 too. That's going to be, what is that? Every 2 months? Or excuse me, twice a month. We have 22, so it'll be about another year. James Tynion the Fourth. This is Joe Bennett on art. Fall of the Batman finale. How's Detective Comics been recently, Alex?
Well, I recently caught up on 972. Shit is definitely going to be hitting the fan. I don't know how far you are into it, you guys, but I think you know that Clayface is freaking out, has actually reverted back to being Clayface, and has become quite homicidal, wanting to kill everybody. So
I believe
duking out with the Bat family, and we'll find out who lives.
I believe at a point in time in this show, we had said that if he goes back, it'll be a shame. We would be a little sad. Are you a little sad seeing him go back to being like that?
You know, I think it's one of those things that you've gotten so attached to him. Yeah, he was a rogue to begin with, but he's now really turned his life around, and now it is kind of hard to watch him revert back. And I think the only saving grace that he's going to have is going to be Cassandra, whether or not she can get him to come back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And those two have a good relationship so far, at least in the book so far. So we'll see. Doomsday Clock number 3 of 12. This is Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. The story takes a turn in the 3rd chapter of this 12-issue series you never thought you'd see from writer Jeff Johns and artist Gary Frank. Learned some news this week about Doomsday Clock. We have this issue this month and the next issue next month, and then there's a 2-month break. And then from there on out, it goes bi-monthly every 2 months. So we'll have an issue in May, and then another issue till July. So that brings us to next year. We'll get a finale for this thing. So I have 2 questions. One, Garrett, does this make you excited to read 3 knowing you're going to get 2 and then we're going to have a couple months break, and then from there on out, it's going to be a slower paced story? And also, are you excited for the 3rd issue?
What do you mean by 2? It's going to go to issue 5 and then it's going to go on that hiatus?
It's going to go to issue this one, 3 and 4, and then there's a 2-month break, no issues. 5 comes out in May, and then from there on out, it comes out every 2 months.
I'd actually be okay with that. We've talked about it before. As long as I'm getting quality book, like where, instead of changing up the artist so that the book can come out quicker, it is kind of a shame. I mean, I know that they started working on this about a year and a half ago, so it's kind of crazy they haven't gotten all these issues out or like gotten 3/4 all the way through. So that's kind of a shame because, this is their biggest event and probably since the actual Rebirth relaunch. I'll be okay with the quality that Johns and Gary Frank are bringing out is so superb. So it's worth the wait. It just kind of sucks that, there was so much planning, but obviously something fell through with probably just Gary Frank's art. It takes a long time to draw. So
what was the delay between 1 and 2?
There's a delay between 1 and 2?
There was.
I didn't even notice.
Maybe we talked about the show.
That one either came out earlier in the month and then the other one came out later in the following month. So it just seemed like a longer wait.
Was it? I thought there was a little delay. Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of Metal. Never mind. Sorry. Yeah, I'm excited for this though. Like you said, there's good quality coming out of this book, but the slower paced story, I'm not sure how that's going to affect me remembering what's going on, also keeping up and like being excited for it. It might be one of those books where it's like, maybe it's better to wait on this a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when they start coming out bi-monthly. But we'll see. I guess it depends how great those issues are and like how much they're going to tide you over for 2 months.
Yeah, I'm worried about like cliffhanger porn. That's going to be a lot of cliffhangers to grab you in the next issue. That's going to be the biggest thing that people are going to psychoanalyze between that, like those issues, and they come out 2 months apart. So that'll be interesting to see how that happens.
Flash number 39. This is Joshua Williamson and Carmine D. G. Kaminko. The Perfect Storm Part 1. And the 700th tale of the Flash. Oh, 700th issue. It doesn't say anything on the cover, though. That's weird. Barry Allen wants to make amends to the people he's hurt, but Gorilla Grodd has other plans. Alex, how's Flash been? You been catching up on this?
Yeah, I caught up on it too tonight. It was a cold day in hell. I don't know. It's good, but it's not as good as it had been to begin with. Since he got into Iron Heights, I'm kind of like, I really don't care. I do love Gorilla Grodd, though, so I'm hoping that maybe this is the issue I've been waiting for, because there's been no talk about Gorilla Grodd showing up, so I don't know if this is going to be a cliffhanger at the end of this issue, or if it's just going to be something where Gorilla Grodd just, boom, is in town. So I'm excited to read this book. I like this cover.
See, and I'm the complete opposite. I'm not a big fan of Gorilla Grodd, and so whenever, like, the main villain is, like, a animal creature, like, and I know Grodd's like a super intelligence, so, but I haven't read the last 2 issues of the Captain Cold, so that's 2-part arc, and before that I was really enjoying the Flash with like Black Spot and like Mina coming back and whatnot, so I'm sure the book will still be okay, but I don't like Hole. Black Hole, yeah. I just don't like when Gorilla Grodd's kind of a crutch. Like, even some of the TV shows, when they don't have anything to do, they're like, we'll just bring Gorilla Grodd back. So I'm just like,
My only thing that I'm finding lately, at least in Flash, and I talk about it a lot, I'm not feeling any stakes are in this for the possibility of Flash dying or being a bad guy or making the wrong choices. Ever since that Reverse Flash arc, which was amazing, I know he's been dealing with the negative force, but I'm not, there's nothing substantial coming out of it. And that's my fear with this book right now. It's just kind of there.
That's why I feel like the Doomsday Clock is kind of holding things on hiatus, because there's like with Superman in action and all these things where you're seeing like books that are like kind of holding back on what they've been giving you on like character development. It's because obviously something big has to happen, and I don't think we've gotten there yet to whatever event, whether it's Doomsday Clock or Metal, that we're supposed to be getting more content for that character to deal with. So I feel like these are all kind of almost getting close to filler arcs until something big happens that we're going to find out in the future.
14 months.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan in the Green Lantern Corps number 37. This is Robert Venditti and Rafael Sandoval. Rafael, one of the best artists on this book. I actually enjoy when it's his issue, so I'm looking forward to this. Power of Zod Part 1. Hey, Alex, if you didn't enjoy that Action Comics or the ongoing arc right here, after the recent battle with Superman in Action Comics, General Zod recovers as he takes control of a small, undeveloped world. When Hal Jordan investigates, it sets the course for a confrontation between the Kryptonian warrior and the Corps' bravest and brightest lanterns. This book crosses over with action a lot, I guess. What do you think about that, Garrett?
I'm excited for it because, the last arc with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, I wasn't too fond of, because it was more focused on, the Guardians and, their past and their, main villains. And I know that if it's the Guardians' problem, it's the Green Lantern's problem, but I think the arc before that, I like when it focuses on the actual team, not focuses on these things that are just seem like chores to the Green Lantern Corps. So I'm hoping, since this will be Hal at the forefront, that them dealing with Zod will be kind of getting back to basics when it comes to the team. So I'm hopeful for this issue, but hopefully whatever last arc isn't helping this book dovetail into something that I wasn't really looking forward to.
Alex, what do you think? We had that one Superman story that ended in Hal Jordan, and then now we have Action Comics doing the same thing. What do you think about that?
I do like the fact that DC takes the option of tying their books together in some small ways, whether it's through Zod or through Parallax or what have you. My only thing with Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps right now is that this book went from being phenomenal to, I don't know if it's lost its gusto or what, but it's not fulfilling what I expect from it anymore. When that Starro Brainiac arc came up, oh my gosh, that surprised me. It was great. This book's gotten kind of dull.
I haven't read the last arc yet, so I'm not sure how it was, but like I told you guys, I'm a little behind on it. So, and I think that's actually part of it, Alex. I think I started reading that 4 issues ago, and I was like, I kind of set it aside. I really wasn't that into it. And I think from there, I was just like, I didn't feel the need to catch up right away. And I think it maybe it's not that it's bad. It's just that, like you said, it's a little dull right now.
Yeah, and it's since I'm not getting my Green Lanterns fixed, I'm pretty close to dropping this book. Not because it's bad. It's just it's not great. It's not as great as it has been. That's
what's weird from those first couple arcs. They were so high action, and we were like, "This is the epic Green Lantern." It just seemed like the stories beginning recently, are kind of smaller. And it seems like that was what the Green Lanterns was about, and this was about epic space battles, and it was like a space opera. And it seems like it's recently taken a step back a little bit from that. And so I think maybe that's it. And hopefully, we still have the first arc story is still not officially done because Sinestро's still out there. So it's going to happen eventually. I just wonder when. You know what I mean?
Right. Why did you tease it too early if we're never going to get it? Get there.
Yeah, the reveal that he's alive still, that could have waited. And then, maybe, so that way we at least felt oh, okay, that's done. Instead of now, I'm okay, when's he coming back? Nightwing in the New Order number 6 of 6. Kyle Higgins and Trevor McCarthy, this little mini that Garrett was getting. Hey. Oh, no, that's retro. Never mind. How's this book been, Garrett?
It's been so good. I think... definitely recommend going back and getting all the previous 5 issues. Very cool idea of a future dystopia where basically Nightwing is the reason that there are no more superhumans in the DC universe, as more of a deterrent to keep not only heroes at bay, but then potential supervillains from causing mass destruction. Very cool book. Same team as Batman Gates of Gotham. It's just an Elseworlds tale, I would say, that you want to see your DC characters played with in a different way. This is the way to go. And the art is so good, like I mentioned before. Definitely should check it out. If not, issue form, trade form. It's coming out soon in trade. It's got to, so look forward to it.
Do you think Kyle Higgins does more with DC, or was this like the last thing?
I don't know. I think he's been experimenting with doing like Image and like Boom Studios and other projects. I think he did so much. He's already done a Nightwing run for the New 52, and he's done some other DC works. Like he's been in the wheelhouse at DC for quite a long time. So I think if we do see him, it'll be more like minis like this. It won't be necessarily like ongoing series or anything like that.
Speaking of a miniseries, Raven Daughter of Darkness #1. This is a new 12-issue miniseries coming out from DC. Marv Wolfman, classic writer, and Pop Man, who was doing the art for, I believe. No, I don't think that's right. And Yetta Paquette on the cover. And it's all a new miniseries. Raven faces a new oddly world menace that is all too grounded in reality. They like doing these for smaller characters, and it's not an Elseworlds tale, but usually they're, they had Deadman, they had a Hawkman one, and so if you're interested in Raven, there you go. There's something for you. I do like that DC does it, and I do like that they mention that it's a miniseries and not like, oh, new ongoing, and then 6 issues in, they're like, oh no, actually it was a mini. Gotcha. So if you're interested in Raven, go ahead and pick that up. Teen Titans #16. This is Ben Percy. No, Marv Wolfman. Oh, Mary Wolfman. Is that correct? Or is it supposed to be Marv? Oh, it is Marv Wolfman. The thing up top says Mary. Marv Wolfman and Trevor Scott. Tom Denerick, an unseen villain, has taken over the citizens of San Francisco with one target in mind: Starfire. Can Corey and her teammates figure out a cure for the masses before they lose control of their minds and bodies forever? One-shot epic written by Marv Wolfman. So it's just going to be a one-shot. Starfire. Alex, do you get Teen Titans still?
I do.
What do you think about this one-shot?
I have to admit, I like Starfire a lot, so I am more than happy to get a one-shot and bring it. I have to admit, I'm glad it's a one-shot because I was like, oh my god, the team changed on me and I didn't know about it, but I can take that.
Who's the?
Well, I think it's in good hands with Marv Wolfman being the creator of the Teen Titans. So I think this is going to be an awesome one shot, and especially that it's focused on Starfire, which I can't remember if Marv Wolfman and George Perez were the creators of Starfire or not.
I believe so. I believe you're right.
Yeah, so very excited because, like, obviously, who knows a character best than the person that created them? I mean, obviously, difference on like if they came out in 1940, but I mean, like, Teen Titans are still pretty fresh, history wise.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Like if you were looking for a one shot, even if you're not getting Teen Titans and you're looking to get into it, that might be a good one to be like, hey, let me see how this is, because it doesn't sound like it's like totally out of the story. They're still the same characters that are in the book. It's just that it's a one shot story. So you can just read that and be like, oh, okay, I like these characters, and then continue with the book. Is Ben Percy the writer?
Typically, yes.
Typically, okay. Announced this week, since it's not here, I'll just say it here. Ben Percy is not going to be on Green Arrow anymore. He announced 2 more issues for him, and then he's off. So
yeah, I wonder who's the team taking him up.
I'm very curious. It might be somebody who we talked about earlier, Brian Michael Bendis. I would assume, remember we talked about on the show.
That's true.
That would be a good person for him to write because it's this street level character.
Yeah.
So we'll see. He said it's a killer team, the second Green Arrow. But if you want your Ben Percy, who I know you guys enjoyed his writing Teen Titans for right now, but he's going to pick up a different book, he said. But for
what if it's Brian Michael Bendis and David Marquez on or Brian Michael Bendis and Otto Schmidt on Green Arrow will be amazing.
Oh no, Otto Schmidt said he's not on anymore too. That's also another thing. Him and Juan said that they're no longer on it either. So
damn, can I at least get one more issue of one of the two?
There's 2 more issues of both of them, they said. I'm not sure if Otto's doing the last one and Juan's doing the next one. I know Juan's doing at least one of them because he put some art on Twitter. But they all said that they're done with Green Arrow after the next 2 books. So
wow.
Wildstorm 11. This is Warren Ellis, John Davis Hunt. We on the cover here have Grifter and the team. This book has been really fun. I'm really looking forward to this issue. Let me ask you, because I know I'm going to assume, I think we all like this book, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think we're really looking forward to this. And you really can't say much about this book without spoiling it. And this is a contained kind of story. So let's just say, everybody, go ahead and pick it up. Go back 11 issues. It's been awesome. But the rumor is right now, the next miniseries, they're doing miniseries every 6, I think? No, 12. No, yeah, every 6. Every 6 issues, they're going to release a miniseries, and that's going to start. So starting with the next issue, a new miniseries is going to start. And people think it's Grifter. What do you think about that? You looking forward to a Grifter book?
That'd be cool.
Alex, I know you like Grifter. You used to get his old book, New 52.
I had gotten this whole series of New 52, which was okay. In all honesty, a part of the only reason I got that book is I think Grifter looks awesome. But I would gladly take a updated or at least fresher version of Grifter. So I'm all for it if that's the case.
And plus, like a Warren Ellis written story so far, at least in this story, I've enjoyed him a lot. So I think I would get it too, especially in this world that he's built. This whole thing's been great. So Michael Cray and Warren and Wildstorm. If you're into something like that's like kind of like spy, sci-fi action, get this book.
I think for me, it'll depend on who their creative team is, because I had no interest in. I mean, I barely know anything about him, but New 52 series didn't really grip me or anything. I read a trade and I was like, I don't really understand who this character is.
Speaking of gripped in you, Wonder Woman number 39, this is James Robinson and Emmanuel Lapacino. How many of you guys still into this book? Gary, you saw it?
Nope, dropped it.
What about Alex?
I still get it.
How was the last issue? I'm really curious about it.
It actually wasn't too bad. I'm not necessarily telling you to go back and get it, but it's a 2-issue arc of Wonder Woman saves this girl. This girl then becomes obsessed with Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman keeps coming to see her. Then when Wonder Woman is busy, and even though the girl's mom tells her, Wonder Woman's a busy lady, she's got stuff going on, the girl sees Wonder Woman on TV talking to somebody else, another family that she saves, and the young woman decides, screw that, I'm going to go kill these people so that Wonder Woman has to talk to me again. And so that's where it leaves off at.
That doesn't sound... I mean, I'm not writing back to go get that book, but at least I hear, at least from the way you're describing it, it's interesting again. And it's at least...
I liked this issue. It was a nice... The only thing is that they brought in Jason, who no one gives a shit about.
Oh, he's still in this book? I just assumed he would have been in that one arc and that's it.
I was hoping that they would kill him off, or hopefully Darkseid sucks the energy out of him and we're done with it. Because he's living at Diana's house and is having a party, and he's like, "Oh, I want to be like you." She's like, "Well, then you gotta pull your head out of your ass." So
nothing about that concept to the story.
I was gonna say that part of the story sounds like I would roll my eyes on the back of my head reading that. Where
I did.
Jason,
that was the worst part of that episode, or that issue.
Yeah, I don't understand why it doesn't make sense to me. I've ranted enough on the show about that choice to bring somebody in like that. So, IDW Publishing, moving on. Nothing really here that we can comment on. I just noticed though they have a 30-day night new miniseries coming out. I didn't know that. Number 2 of 6. So if you're looking forward to that, if you read the last one, get that there. And also, if you're into Star Wars, Force of Destiny. This is Padme and how do you say that? Ahsoka.
I actually just started watching the Clone Wars. It's back on Netflix. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So I just watched the movie, and then the series follows the movie, but I have no interest in this non-canon bullshit. So.
If you got a kid and they like that Clone Wars show, get them that.
And then 10 years later, tell them it never mattered.
Image Comics. This is Black Magic number 10. This is Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott. Oh, jeez, that cover is the creepiest thing I've ever seen in my life. Awakening 2, part 5. In the wake of an officer-involved shooting, Rowan's lies are threatening to unravel. The Ascension threatens tragedy for those closest to Rowan. Sorry, I got a little distracted. All of a sudden, like a bug landed on my ear. That's weird. Black Magic number 10. I believe... Oh, Garrett, you just caught up with this book, right? Or at least a couple issues ago.
Yep. No, I'm all the way caught up.
How are you looking forward to 10?
Yeah. I mean, kind of a sneak preview, but it's my pick of the week. I'm super pumped for the story. I think it's one of the best, I know it's a book about magic, but it's also one of the best detective books that I've read in a long time. Like, it's actual detective work. And the occult stuff and the magic around it it's just a lot of fun. It gives it some flair, gives the concept like, I don't know, some juice. So I'm very excited. I think that we're getting pretty close to some things hitting the fan pretty quick here. So very pumped.
I'll agree with that. I don't think it's actually like a very high octane kind of book. Like, it's certainly not a book I read and be like, oh geez, this is gonna be full of action. But it's, like you said, it's a detective story, but there's enough magic stuff that it's not overwhelming, but it's enough, like you said, to add a little flavor to it. And it's good. I like it so far. Alex, looking forward to Black Magic?
Oh, I'm always looking forward to Black Magic, but it's one of those slower books that I almost need to be reading more than one issue at a time for me to get a little bit more out of it, because it's been a while since it came out.
That's what I was going to ask. When did 9 come out?
2 months ago.
2 months ago, yeah. See, I think you're right about that, Alex. I bet you anything. Like, if anybody's listening to this and go, oh, I want to read kind of like a detective story about magic, I guarantee you this book in trade is like amazing. Well, you read it all together, Garrett.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was amazing. Read all time.
But I'll agree with Alex a little bit. Like I said, nothing really, it's not super dense. It's very uncompressed. So, like, reading it every 2 months, it does feel like, okay, I want a little bit more of this. But maybe, I mean, that's a good thing, though, also, that I want more of the book. You know what I mean? But I wish I was coming out on a more consistent basis. But I believe that's a little bit of Nicola Scott. As I do know, she takes a little bit more time. So, speaking of looking forward to things, Alex, Black Science number 34, this is Rick Remender, Matteo Scalera. 2 questions for you. 1, I believe we love the last issue. The one before that we didn't like. So what are the chances this one is good? Is it still every other? And 2, when did the last one come out? Was that like 3 months ago, 2 months ago?
I'm guessing it's got to be about 3 months ago since 33 came out.
Can you believe this thing is almost over? They announced it's going to come to the end, and it's been limping to the end. This thing.
I'm concerned on how Rick Remender is going to end it, and I think a part of me, I'm just thinking it's going to be a week end. When that first like 2 or 3 arcs were great, even up to at least number 25 was amazing. Then we've kind of hit weird blunders along the way of just whether or not it's good. So
100% agree. This is the book that I feel a little guilty about recommending, being like, this book is awesome. Remember we used to talk about how great this book was? And that beginning's still great.
I read that first issue from you, and I was like, holy shit. This and East of West were books that I just could not get enough of. And now both those books are either delayed or slow, or they're not living up to the expectation that they have enlisted in me.
And I think
I'm apprehensive.
I think when it's all said and done, this is collected, it's going to read fine. But what you said, like, you can't have these 2 stories, which a lot's going on, East of West and this, and have it come out every 3 months and then expect me still to be like, oh, yeah, I'm still into this book. Because I feel like if I went back and read it, I'd be like, oh, yeah, I am pumped for this book. But I have no clue what's, like, you could test me and be like, hey, I'll give you $1 million. Tell me where we are in the story, like, right now. I have no clue where we're at. Yeah. And I'll start reading it, and that kind of ruins your experience. You're spending, 3, 4, 5 pages being like, okay, what's going on again? Oh, yeah, this is going on. And then by the time you're caught up and actually enjoying it, the book's over, and then you're going to wait 3 months again. And I think that is probably the number one reason not to read books in issues when you get books like this. I mean, if there's any problem with the current comic industry, it's delays. Like, if I was just a person and I came into the shop for the first time and I saw Black Science and I got into it, there's no way I would understand, oh, why is that book not coming out for 3 months? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And there's
I think that's my big thing now is that I love getting the monthly comics, but I only enjoy it when it's actually a monthly thing.
That's what I said, when it's consistent. Like when Kill or Be Killed is consistent, it takes breaks, planned breaks, and the trade comes out with like always on time. Like that, I enjoy that because it feels like it's on a schedule. And like TV shows, there's a season and then I know it's off and then it comes back. Imagine a TV show, you watch one episode and you're like, you wait 3 months, you're like, where's that? Is it still on? What's going on here? That's what it feels like, and it makes it less enjoyable knowing that, like I said, I'm pretty sure the contents within this book are going to be okay, but it's going to be a little weird trying to catch up with it and then waiting, I don't know how long for the next issue.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Are we reading that book this week? No, we're not. Never mind.
No.
Maybe I'll read it and I'll talk about it. I probably won't. Descendants number 1. There's some names here. I can't say them all. Sami Basari on art and Ryan Caddy on writing the book, and also somebody else. That's a very hard name. Sorry about that. In an alternate world where Earth is populated with powerful human spirit hybrids called Phantom and Folk and Rosira Havret, 2 siblings with opposing worldviews, are challenged to prove their worth and take up their parents' positions in a devious group who secretly run the world. Okay, first off, I don't know anything about this book, so I'm just judging it based on this cover and this description. First off, that art's amazing. By the way, I'm looking at the preview right now, so maybe get it for that. But it sounds a little too complicated for me. I might dip out of this.
The concept literally bores me.
I know, that's what I'm trying to read. I'm like, and I didn't read the whole thing. I was like, we'll leave it at halfway through.
I think that's an image book that's trying way too hard to be its own.
Like I said, nothing against the book. Obviously, I don't know anything about the book. I haven't read it, but that right there for me is like, I think I talked about it a couple weeks ago. Sometimes a simpler story with complex characters is better than a complex story with
simple characters.
Well, I'm not sure. I haven't read it yet. I'm assuming though, but we'll see. If you're looking for a one,
this is the book that I want to look at just to see, because I think if the cover art is as good as the inside art, or the inside art is as good as the cover art,
I think the inside art is better than that cover.
Maybe could make it.
I think the inside art's better than that cover. But it's very. I like the colors in it. It looks great, but I'm not sure if I would start reading it and be like, I'm not sure what's going on, and then stop reading it. So we'll see. If anybody reads that book, I'm 100% serious. Descendants number 1. If anybody reads that, 605-215-1849 at Wednesday Comics or Wednesday Comics 605 at gmail.com. Let us know if it's good or not. I will go and read that book. I don't want to like trash it just based on first appearance. But there's sometimes I look at a book and the synopsis, I'm like, well, I'm not sure who that book's for. And that's what that kind of looks like. Hey, Sergeant America, your Manifest Destiny came out. Go get that book. Monsters number 13. This is Marjorie Liu, Santa Takita. This book is a Hugo Award winning book, which is amazing for a comic book. Two, this is like, besides Walking Dead and Saga, I think this is like the 3rd top selling book at Image in trades, which is great for them. Which actually, I was like, oh, cool. Alex still reads this. How is it holding up after 13 issues?
Well, it hasn't been out in about 3 to 4 months, so I really can't remember.
I do see it's oversized, and maybe that's the reason why, because they're like coming back, like a big return. It says a new arc and oversized issue.
This is one of those books that the art is so good that it's hard to want to drop this book. And I had done it once before, then Garrett was still getting it, and then I was like, well, screw it. So he has someone to talk to about. So I'm going to give this one a try. I'm going to at least look through it and see if it's still something I want to keep getting.
The art has always been amazing. It's just the story is like, the fuck is going on?
It used to be, Alex, let me know if this is still the case. I remember when I used to read it, it seemed like for a while they were concerned about building a world rather than focus on characters. And there's so much going on that for me, it was hard to focus on what was going on. Is it still like that, where it's like a huge world and like it's hard to focus on like what the actual story is?
Yeah, they're doing world building without defining the lines.
They've actually had gotten better. Once the main character, I think is it Micah? When she When she meets these pirates and is going to meet I think it was like a mystical fox. And it actually got more into the characters, but she's always got that demon or anti-god or something in her body.
Yeah.
That you always get torn between her and that thing, and it kind of loses its touch.
Yeah, that was the thing before, is that there's a lot of mythology, world building going on, that when it actually did focus on those characters, I was like, oh, I like this. But then it would always be like, here's the history on this, the history on the warring factions, and that part always lost me. But we'll see. I mean, it's only 13 ends. Like you said, it's been delayed a little bit, but I do know people will enjoy that book, so that might be something I at least for the art. The art was always amazing. I might go back and catch up with that. It's only 13 in. Once again, probably not. But
you weren't that far behind, are you?
No, I'm not. I could catch up probably reading the last trade and then be caught up with this. I think I did read like 5 or 6. But it's good. I like it. I mean, I did way back then, but I dropped it because I was like, oh, I feel like this needs to catch up to itself, and then it'd be okay. Sex Criminals number 21. Speaking of delays, Matt Fraction.
Whoa.
Oh, was something else in here?
Yeah, Postal number 25. It's
there you go.
Series finale.
Postal number 25. This is Brian Hill and Isaac Goodhart. The war for Eden is over, but Laura faces the most important choice of her life. What to do with her son Mark's future. This is Postal Garrett. How's Postal?
It's been so good. It's been one of the best comic series I've ever read. Something about, I got to read the first issue online a long time ago, and it was like they were letting you read it for free, and that hooked me instantly. This book, like, it's finale, it's oversized, it's $5.99. Very excited to see what happens. And I know there's going to be like a 6-issue epilogue mini coming out called Postal Mark, because the main character's name is Mark. Holy shit, this is like one of the best. It's like a civil war in a corrupt city full of like reformed criminals. I think everyone should catch up on this and trade, because, you know, obviously this is the end. And Brian Hill as a writer has really come a long way. It was started by what's his name?
Matt Hawkins?
Matt Hawkins, yep. And then the art by Isaac Goodhart, like they switched the artist about 12 issues in. Like, Isaac Goodhart should be doing more work. If not in another book, like bring him to one of the big two, because his art is so good. And Brian Hill's the writer of Wildstorm Michael Cray right now, so.
He is, and I enjoy that a lot. So, you know what?
Yeah.
You've always described this book, and when you're 100%, I'm going to be 100% honest. Every time you described it, I was like, I should read this book. But I think at one point you told me it was not going to be, it was going to be ending soon. So I'll go back and, I believe this is an Image book. It'll be on Hoopla, and I'll catch up with it.
Yeah.
Wait, is this
definitely?
Is there more to this? Is this the first series, or is there prior series?
No, this is it. There was like a little mini. It was called like Eden Falls or Eden something. It was like a 3-part between like 3 other books, but I don't think you need to read that. It's going to be this series, and then, like I said, there's going to be a 6-issue mini called Postal Mark. That's like the epilogue of the series. So,
okay. Sex Criminals 21. Like I said, speaking of delays, Matt Fraction, Chip Zarsky. I also don't know how to say his last name. 5 Finger Discount Part 1. Up is down and black is white, and the sex isn't happening either. It's a crime. Alex, this book. I remember this book was amazing, that first arc, and then Delay City came, and this book never came out. And then now I think it's more consistent, even though it's still delayed every once in a while. It's more consistent recently. How's it been?
Well, it's been delayed for at least 4 to 5 months.
Oh, really? Okay, I thought I saw it a couple months ago.
No, I said the delays have been more recent, but the first arc was amazing, and then it got weird. I mean, weirder than you would expect. But then after it got weird, it actually got better again, and it went back to just them telling a good story. So I'm excited for this issue. I've missed this book. This book has got some of the funniest lines, and just the way that Marvin can attest to it. There's a song that is sung in one of the books that they didn't get the rights to the words, so they wrote other things over it. It was so good. I am excited to read this issue.
I believe the reason why Matt Fraction is not writing anything else right now, and he's only writing this, is that he's working on the TV show for this. So hopefully that turns out to be well. We'll see. Speaking of another book that's been delayed, Southern Masters number 19, Jason Aaron, Jason Latour, Gut Check Part 5, Moment of Truth for Roberto Tubbs, A Moment of Reckoning for Coach Boss. One of my favorite books, but I mean, when it comes out, it's been a while since the last one came out. I do know, like, there's some personal issues they were going through, but it's been a little bit. Alex, what do you think? Southern Bastards, are we looking forward to this? I mean, I guess I am looking forward to this, but it's the same thing, right? I don't know what's going on.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
remember.
This is even. I think this is one of those books that, as much as I love Black Science, I actually love Southern Bastards more.
Yeah, I would go with that
And
too.
unfortunately, I have only read one issue of this. I think in the last year, maybe two. I don't know how to be. I'm excited, yes.
I think 3
But
issues came out
couldn't-
last year.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you what the hell I've read.
No.
So when it comes out more consistently and I can know what the story is, I'll be like, holy shit, this is amazing. Most anticipated book for me this week is this.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what I'm getting ready to read.
I believe I said on our Best of show that I think 3 issues came out, and if this book was coming out month to month, this would be like my favorite series. But I can't give this book my best series of the year when only 3 issues came out, and I had I had that moment where I'm like, okay, what's going on again? And then you would get into it and then be like, okay, and then no issue for like 4 months. So we'll see. I mean, it's good. Like I said, trade. I guess that's the way you got to go with these books that are delayed a lot. Southern Mastered, Sex Criminals, Monstrous, Black Science. I'm sure they all read great in trade, and I'm sure somebody listen to this be like, well, I read that in trade. Seems fine. Yeah, it probably does, but it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to read issue to issue when you don't know when the next one's coming out, and you don't remember when the last one came out. Marvel Comics Legacy. You know Legacy's done, by the way.
Really?
So they yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think a little bit ago, like a month ago, I said in the show that America was canceled. But Marvel was like, oh, no, it's not canceled. It's just not part of the Legacy lineup anymore. We took it off the Legacy lineup. And I was like, oh, you guys already taking out enough of books and then no more Legacy? Okay. I mean, some of these books are still Legacy, but not all of them. Speaking of Legacy, Amazing Spider-Man 794. This is Threat Level Red Part 1. Dan Slott, Stuart Eminem, Alex Rawson covers. Nearly 1 year ago, Spider-Man hurled the dangerous madman called Zodiac a full year into the future. In this issue, Spidey catches up with them, and Zodiac has a whole year to prepare for their rematch. Alex, are you still on this book, or did you drop both those crossovers?
I actually was I did not know this was going to be a new arc.
Yeah.
So I will get this book. If this was going to be the Venom tie-in, I was going to drop that shit. Because I could blow my brains out for how very little I care about Spider-Man and all of his Venom friends. Come up with some original ideas, because this is getting old.
Well, this is probably close to the end.
I'm excited for this new issue. So.
Yeah, probably close to the end of Dan Slott's run, so he's going to start pulling it into some mega arc to...
It is. He's done with issue 801. That's his last issue. So 7 more issues of Dan Slott, which is what? 6 months? Not 6 months, excuse me. 4 months?
14 weeks.
Yeah, so we'll see. I was not aware of this book at all, and this is very interesting to me. Normally, I see Inhumans, and I'm like, get it out of here. I don't want it. But Al Ewing, Michael Del Mundo, the Inhumans face the wrath of their creators. This book doesn't look half bad, and if it focuses on the Inhumans dealing with their own stuff, then it's fine. The art looks great. I'm looking at the preview right now. That's Mike DeMundo that I like. So we'll see. We'll see if I get this one and if I read it. But if you're going to read Inhumans, I mean, if there's anybody that can make me excited for Inhumans, it would be Al Ewing. So we'll see. Another number 1 starting this week, actually a miniseries, 1 of 5. Legion number 1. This is Peter Milligan, Wilfredo Torres, Trauma Part 1. Legion, a character who has his own TV show now on FX. Or is it FX? Yeah.
Yep, FX.
I do know that me and Garrett enjoy that show. Is that correct, Garrett?
Yeah, I love that show. Probably one of the best shows on television that didn't get enough attention when I was on.
Does Legion number 1 interest you enough to try it out?
Yes, absolutely. I'm in all the way.
I think I wasn't familiar with him before that show, but the character himself seems really interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna flip through that too and see how it looks. Legion number 1. So if you watch that show and you're like, hey, I want to get into Marvel Comics, I like this Legion show. That's where you jump on.
Like, I get so excited for that second season just based off seeing the title of this book. I'm like, oh yeah, baby, get me back in that world.
Marvel 2-in-1 number 2. This is The Thing and the Human Torch. Chip Zdarsky, Jim Chung, The Fate of the Four Part 2. Alex, did you get the first one right? Or did we all get it?
Yeah, I think we all got it.
Yep.
Alex, how did you like the first one?
I loved issue 1. Like, flat out loved it. It was a Fantastic Four book with only 2 of them that I needed.
I felt like that first book, like you said, is what I needed. There was enough drama where I was like, okay, this is respecting like that they're gone now. And then I thought it was actually kind of also like a little funny. And it's Chip. I know Chip's funny. It was a nice blend. I liked it. I was very surprised because I wasn't going to get it. I mean, on the show I talked about, well, I'll look at it. And then you were like, there's no way you're going to get that, Marvin. And then I was at the shop and I was like, you know what? It's only 2 of them. But if I can only get 2 of them, I'm going to get 2 of them. And by that, I mean 2 of the Fantastic Four. And so I picked it up and I was surprised. And I'm glad I picked it up. So if you...
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's filling a hole that obviously Marvel has dug for themselves. I think that, with the way this book came out, they were not broadcasting it at all. They're like, if you want to know about the Fantastic Four, you could read this, I guess. But it's like, there should be way more attention on this series than there has been.
Yeah, I did feel like it was a little under the radar. They really didn't promote it that much.
But I think it's one of the best books I've read since Legacy started.
Yeah, I would agree with that too.
Yes.
Actually, I believe the only reason I knew about it is because we were doing the forecast and I saw it on the list and I was like, oh, what's this? 2-in-1? And I was like, okay. So if you jumped off of Marvel kind of around the time that Secret Wars ended because you were interested in any of those books, this might be one you pick up because it kind of reminds me of like how things used to be. So Marvel Avengers Infinity War Prelude number 1. Now you got to read this book, otherwise you won't know what's going on in that movie. That's what I think. This is Will Program and Ty Walker.
Shut up. We shouldn't be wasting time on this. Those books never sell.
I just wanted to say it's one of 2. Isn't it? I always find it funny because these books are usually there's no consequences, like nothing really happens. Obviously, you can't do something that affect the movie. But they always like give you one thing, and then the movie you're like, oh, I know how that happened because I read that book. What's the chances that we're going to find out why Black Widow's hair is blonde because of this book? Is that the reason what's going to happen?
That could be one. It could be that her hair, she just fell into some like white dye, and that's what happens.
Wouldn't it be? I mean, these 2 people, I'm not sure who they are, the artist and the writer. They seem like newer people. But wouldn't it be beneficial to Marvel Studios or Marvel to be like, oh, you got a prelude coming out? Put somebody huge on it. So like people like us that follow creators would be like, oh, I'm going to try that out. It's, it's Chip. It's, Mark Waid or Al Ewing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But instead, everything about it, it's a tie-in with the movie. And it's people I don't know. I'll write it off. But if you're interested, there you go. 1 of 2.
I don't know why they still feel like, they have to do it for every single Marvel movie they come out to prelude. And it's like, you're going to catch like 2% of fans that are looking forward to that movie.
Yeah, I feel like they would be better suited to just re-release like some Avengers trades around the time. Be like, if you like that movie, read these trades.
Yeah, just put the poster of the movie on there instead.
Like Infinity that Jonathan Hickman did is basically going to be that movie. Like re-release that and be like, put the movie poster on there instead and be like, Infinity, read this. Or Infinity Gauntlet even. Yeah. Thanos 15, speaking of him, here we go. Donny Cates, Jeff Shaw, Thanos Wins Part 3. Alex, I think I can speak for you. Really looking forward to this book. It's been awesome. Is that correct?
Oh, hell yeah. I forgot this was coming out. This could already be my preemptive choice of the week because I love. Yeah. And to see, do you see what's on the cover? I see a Hulk dog.
I was going to say.
Not actually a dog. The Hulk is on a chain and old Thanos holding him. That's his bitch. That's
a good cover. And you got Ghost Rider with, what is it, a gun just staying by his side? And like armor. Oh, that's what's good about this book so far. It's like very cosmic, and I don't know what to expect. And that's very rare that you read any kind of like Marvel DC book. And I think that's what makes those books great is when you're like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen with this book. Because a lot of times normally you're like, oh yeah, it's a Batman book. Batman's not going to die. Yeah, but it's more interesting to be like, I've never seen Batman in this situation before. And so now you have the situation where like, this is a very unique group of characters and looks great. And so far it's been great. So looking forward to it. Hey! Oh, no, nobody gets that book. X-Men Blue Annual, #1 coming out. So if you get X-Men Blue, there you go. It's annual. I believe that book's ending, if I remember my news correctly. X-Men Blue. I think it's ending. I think it's ending when Red comes out or something like that. But those are the comics for January 24th.
You know what?
Go ahead.
We got Go-Go Power Rangers, don't we?
Oh, is it down there?
I didn't see it under there.
Oh, I had seen it. Yeah, I do. It's right there.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Go-Go Power Rangers number 6.
Number 6.
This is Ryan Perret, Miguel Mercado, and Dan. Oh, he's on the cover. Dan Mora on the art. This is Rita's manipulations begin to turn the Rangers against Zordon as their personal lives deteriorate. How's it? I know you guys said this book's really great. Is that correct, Garrett?
Yes.
100%. Yeah, 100%. It's, again, everyone knows who the team is from the 90s, but do you really know them, I guess? See, I should make a poster for this fucking book. But it's literally more doing character analysis of the characters who are the Power Rangers, not the Power Rangers themselves. So there's a lot of more insight about each person than you would know by just watching the 90s TV show.
That's the one mistake that the TV show did. Never actually introduced you to these characters other than the one thing they're known for, whether it be gymnastics or fighting,
right,
or Billy being smart or dancing. This actually gets more into their personal lives, which is really good. So,
and Dan Moore on that art, ooh, baby, so good.
Yeah.
Those are comics for January 24th, 2018. Alex, what book are you looking forward to the most?
I think my first book that I'm excited for the fact that it's been gone so long is Southern Bastards, number 19. But the book that I think is going to bring me the most pleasure and excitement while I read it is going to be Thanos, number 15.
Garrett, what do you think we're looking forward to?
I think I'm going to go with Black Magic number 10. I think every time that issue comes out, I look forward to it quite a bit. So excited to see what happens next for Rowan.
Obviously, Alex, I said on the show I'm excited for the two that you are, but just to pick a different one, I am gonna go with Wildstorm number 11. It's been one of my top 5 books of the year. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been great so far, and now we're at number 11, so we're about halfway. When we get to the next issue, we'll be halfway done. So we're ramping up to halfway done. So that's Warren Ellis. Writing that book. It's been good so far. Like it. If you know what, Alex, we have a lot of crazy weather recently. We had a snowstorm. For a second there, they thought it was going to be Snowpocalypse 2018, and then it turned out to be 4 inches 2018. And then now I see the weather for this week. And by the way, before that Snowpocalypse, 40 degrees. You know what we call that in winter? We call that a hot streak. And coming up this week, we have another hot streak. I see 45, excuse me, on Friday. Is that accurate? Because I've been seeing these. That's what I'm saying. These meteorologists around here are messing it up. They're saying snowstorm 2018. I get 4 inches. What do you say?
No, I tell you what. When you live in the state that we live in, this place can get crazy. Last week, 50 degrees. A day later, negative 12. This weekend, we got some snow. We're gonna get some warm weather. You know what you're gonna have that is always gonna be there? Your comic books. Go get those books, read it while it snows, turn that fireplace on or light that bitch up. The fireplace, not actually light some people on fire.
Wow, or your comics.
Do you think
or
maybe
your comic? Well,
Alex, that MODOK is messing with the weather? Is that what's happening? That big head?
You know what? I bet he's like, you know what? That Marv dude, he lives in town. Let's annoy his friends. What he does to them, annoy them. Solid.
I haven't drank out of his head in a while, so maybe that's the reason why. Well, I'll do it. I gotta. What do you call it? Keep the gods in check.
Mug.
Yeah, I got it.
You know what? He's probably mad at you.
He is.
Drink out of my face. Do it.
Garrett, speaking of that snow, it's all over those roads. So how are them roads doing?
Rolls will be good. I think everyone should get up a little extra early tomorrow and make sure they get to their local comic book shop on time because lots of good picks that will definitely run out if you don't get them as quick as you can. So, condition-wise, maybe don't speed, or especially around corners.
You know what?
Otherwise,
you maybe just realized, Garrett, that when I say my most anticipated, I just totally forgot the Doomsday Clock's coming out. I've been enjoying that, so maybe I should put that one on the looking forward to.
I'm looking forward to it. I think the news about it being delayed is kind of putting a damper on it, but I think it'll still be a great book.
Yeah,
I think
I'm definitely going to read that book.
Forward to it, but you're going to have kind of 1 foot in, 2 foot back, because you're like, hey, you're going to kind of screw me here coming up here.
I think, and since it's not a planned break, I feel like it's going to be a point in the story where I'm like, oh, it's getting good, and then I got to wait 2 months and get an issue, and then wait 2 months, or excuse me, 1 month and then get an issue. So you're right. I am looking forward to it a lot, but I didn't think of it because already in my head it's like, okay, that book's going to be delayed, so you don't have to read it right away. So that's like I said, Alex Modoc is taking over. Maybe Gorilla Grodd, who knows? They're working together. Wait, they're different universes. They might be. We got a crossover happening.
DC, Marvel, do it. Bring them together. I'm surprised they don't do that. Have another Marvel versus DC.
When was the last one? Like the early 90s?
Yeah.
It's at a point now where they're both owned by corporations that they would never play ball like that ever again. So until one day when Disney buys them out, but that day's not today. But they bought me out, so go ahead and go see Avengers May 4th through the 2018. I'm not sure if that's the day, but it's close. Buy your tickets on sale as soon as possible. I am now working for Disney. My name is Marvin.
I don't even know where that was ridiculous. I am your meteorologist, Alex.
I am your driving specialist, Garrett.
Hey everyone, stay nice and comfy and keep reading those books.